Welcome to Best Kept Secrets Travel, Episode 11. My name's Morgan.
And I'm Will, and on today's episode we're doing part 1 of our newest deep dive into Czechia, formerly known as the Czech Republic. So, let's start off and roll the intro.
Best friends, and that's for life. Who stay traveling? I'm talking worldwide. 65 countries between the two. Every moment is so unbelievable. Sharing the best kept secrets about the trips and mistakes they made that they can't forget. So tell me if you're ready for a time to remember as they gear up for the next adventure. Yeah. Woo! Best kept secrets travel.
Starting off with location/geography about Czechia. Czechia is a country located in Central Europe, and it comprises the historical provinces of Bohemia and Moravia, along with the southern tip of Silesia, collectively often called the Czech lands.
Looking at the history, capital and population of Czechia. History, short to the point. Morgan, why have you written this?
So I have a note saying that for the history, capital and population, to make it short to the point and energetic. That is absolutely
need that in italics.
Yeah, that is absolutely brilliant.
The Czechs founded the Kingdom of Bohemia and Přemysl dynasty, which ruled Bohemia and Moravia from the 10th to the 16th century. The defeat of the Austrian-Hungarian Empire in the World War I cleared the way for the foundation of an independent state of Czechs and Slovaks.
After World War II, the restored republic became part of the Soviet sphere of power. A period of limited democracy was ended by communist takeover in February 1948. On the 1st of January 1993, the Czech and Slovak Federal Republic was peacefully divided, and the independent Czech and Slovak republics were founded. In 2016, the country adopted the name Czechia, I hope you said that when you're listening, as a shortened informal name for Czech Republic. Prague is the capital, and Prague has been known as the handsomest city of Europe since the 18th century. You know that's an old fact, because we wouldn't use the word handsomest anymore.
No, we really wouldn't.
No, but going on.
No. So, let's go for a few slightly more modern ones coming up. A few random facts about the country of Czechia. The only thing Czechs love more than eating mushrooms is hunting for them. If this town is empty on St. Wenceslaus Day...
Wenceslas. Is it not?
I have no idea, Morgan.
Wenceslas.
It's held at the end of September. It's because everyone's gone fungi picking in the forest.
Ooh, Czechs.
Magic mushrooms.
Oh, lovely. Czechs consume the most beer per capita in the world. You can tell it's a place that we'll probably like. Well, I've been there, but I was too young. too young to be bothered about that fact. You can go and join them for a Pilsner-style lager in any old alluring pub, which is called a hospoda.
I do like a Pilsner.
Yeah, I quite enjoy
Need about
Pilsners.
a good inch of foam on top when it's poured.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say minimum. Prague Castle is the largest in the world. Wear good walking shoes and get ready to be transported into the chambers from a scene of Game of Thrones.
Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun,
dun.
And where else have we spoken about in previous episodes that you can see stuff from Game of Thrones?
Dubrovnik
Yeah.
in Croatia has loads of Game of Thrones things.
Yeah. And we briefly mentioned in Ireland. 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 In the 2019 Global Peace Index, the country has placed in the top 10 safest countries in the world. Similarly to previous years. So that's good that it hasn't changed massively, but yeah.
Czechia is also known as the castle capital of the world. The Republic has over 2,000 castles, ruins and keeps for visitors to tour and enjoy.
And this is a cool one, and this is something that I have wanted well, we're going to talk about it later, but Czechia has several ossuaries. Ossuaries are basically chapels and caves where old bones are stored. And there are lots of them, well, there's a few of them found in the country, including one inside the Church of St. James, which is the second largest ossuary in Europe after the catacombs in Paris.
And
we
you know
will,
what's very odd?
We will talk about this later on.
Do you know what's very odd? The Hygiene
Your
Museum
eyes.
in Prague. I think post-COVID,
It's going to be quite popular.
Could spike in popularity
Yeah.
and probably need to change some of their displays. But it currently displays an unusual collection of over 2,000 historical chamber pots, toilets, and loos that range from historical to famous, including a seat from the Titanic. Do you think, post-pandemic,
How
when
did
we're
they get
really
the
out
seat?
of this-
Did maybe someone took it with
Well,
them?
No, we don't need another man on this life raft. Actually, no, most of the men weren't allowed on the life raft
No,
anyway.
yeah. Woman.
They just took a toilet.
Maybe they thought it would float.
Thought it was a life vest and put it around the neck.
Yeah, or it's
stuck.
wooden, thought it would float, maybe.
So, do you reckon post-pandemic they're going to start sticking, hand sanitizer stations in there?
And the different types of masks worn during COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Going from like FP1 to FP3.
Going to balaclavas to
plastic
masks to the plastic face visors.
to mask below the nose.
The chin ones. Have you seen them?
What, where people just
Where it's just a bit like that.
just tiny little bit.
Yeah, just covers. Yeah, oh, it's hilarious. I saw them in Germany, and that made me laugh. But moving on. Český Krumlov, down in southern Bohemia, lies a fairy tale town so scenically historic it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
What's it called, Morgan?
What you said. Brimming in stunning examples of Renaissance-era architecture, the picturesque community wraps around the bend of the Vltava River and boasts beautiful 13th century castles, a mix of Gothic, Renaissance and Baroque styles at its core. No idea how that's a fact, but it's there anyway. Well, I guess it's a fact. It's a fact because it's there. It's just not random. I guess it is random. Okay, it should be there.
If you're into your gram or you take photos of people to gram.
What's the gram?
Exactly. The gram, the Instagram, the tweet, the Facebook.
The tweet.
Facebook, the Bebo.
Or isn't it the meta or something?
The
now?
metaverse. Oh yeah, it's meta now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we've got the most Instagrammable locations in Czechia. Starting off, we just want you guys to Instagram us a photo of yourself in the Czech Republic, which is now known as Czechia, if possible, using the hashtag #TheBKSTravel.
Okay.
And we will find you.
Or you could just
talk about our favourite one.
Or you could just tag us in the photo.
Or tag us. And also hashtag #TheBKSTravel, because we want to get that going viral. So, number one on the list, we have the Prague Castle. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site and arguably the most significant Czech monument in the country. The castle complex is composed of palaces and ecclesiastical buildings of various architectural styles, very busy with lots of people. Analysis of castles around the world reveals that Prague castles have received the most Instagram hashtags out of anywhere.
So it must be the most Instagrammable castle in the world.
Must be the most grammable.
Must be. Totally grammable. Letna is a hill. Go there. Overlooking Prague and the Vltava River, it's one of the best parts to get a panoramic view of the city. There is also a great beer garden where you can have a cold one whilst watching the sunset. I think that sounds quite pretty and quite Instagrammable, to be fair.
Beer garden?
I think you'd likely find us there.
Yeah.
That's probably where we go
Most
for
of the day.
yeah, sunset, sunrise.
Considered one of the most beautiful and majestic libraries in the world, the Clementium houses over 20,000 books.
Ooh.
You cannot take photos in the famous Baroque library. But don't worry. Not only the library is worth going and visiting, if you climb the astronomical tower located there, you can get unique views of the old city centre. It costs 380 Czech kronas to get in, or 200 Czech kronas if you are a student and can provide a valid student pass.
So one of the really good things you can do, well, not one of.
So Morgan,
A good
why
thing,
would you put in a non-picture loving place as an Instagrammable location?
well, because the view from the top, which you just
Can
said.
you take pics from the top?
Yes. You just can't take pictures inside the library.
Probably damaged books or some rubbish.
But I've seen lots of pictures of the library still, and it's a very pretty library. But one of the really good things you can do in Prague is there are lots of towers. If you just go and explore, there are lots of places that you can get up to really high points and get a pretty view of the city. The next thing we're going to talk about is the best time to visit Czechia. And the best time to visit Czechia tends to be late spring, so May, to early autumn, which is September and October. Not only do these months have the best weather, but also fewer crowds and cheaper accommodation. Beer lovers should head over to Olimu for the beer fest. Olimu Beer Festival is at the end of May, where there is a solid mix of both large, well-known breweries and small regional breweries that are all represented. That also sounds like a lot of fun.
And September is all about the wine festivals in Czech. The Palava Vintage Festival, Historical Vintage Festival, and Valtis Vintage all take place annually in Moravia. And the Litomeris Vintage and the Melnik Vintage are both held in Bohemia in September. I didn't know Prague was so known for its wine because it's so large for all of its Pilsner beers.
Yeah, for all the beers, it kind of hides the fact that they also have wine. Oh, now this is the fun part of the episode.
Bum, bum, bum.
It's where Will and I are going to try and do... We do need a jingle for this, but it's where Will and I are going to do the language part. So, Will, we're going to start with hello.
Dobrý den.
Dobrý den. Yeah, I like that.
I'm sure that we've had that in another language.
Yeah,
Is it Dobrý den in Ukraine? No. I can't remember where we've done. Was it Turkey?
I can't remember off the top. We haven't done Turkey yet.
Do we not do Budapest?
That's Hungary.
Hungary. Oh, I'm losing the plot. I've lost the plot. I just fell asleep there. Welcome to the travel show where we mix up the countries.
And now we're cancelled.
Oh, it's been a long one, Morgan.
Okay, the next question is, where is the beer garden?
You expecting me to try and say that? Kedzi Pivni Zarada.
Kde je pivní zahrada? Yeah, okay.
Fluent, basically. And
Fantastic.
the next one is, where is bathroom?
Kde je to alelato?
What? I think you've overcomplicated that. I think it's Kedzi Toileta.
But you forgot the yeah.
What?
Kde je toileta?
Kedzi Toileta.
Okay, we'll go for that. So do you speak English?
No.
Clearly.
Mluvite anglicky. That's going to be my crack for that one.
And what do you think kolik to stoji is?
I think
without
it
reading
how much
it.
Is this because it's on the script you've given me, Morgan?
Okay, so if you're out in Czechia and you
Yep.
wanted someone to take a picture of yourself, how would you say, could you take a picture of me,
I'll
please?
just say, Molbies mi vototi prizom.
Molbist mi vyfotit, prosím.
That's my definitely awful interpretation.
And beer, please?
Pivo prozim.
Pivo, prosím. You'll go deep there.
Pivo prozim.
Fantastic.
That's how you get your beer.
So that was a fantastic, as per usual. I'm sure we got all the languages correct.
Of course.
Because we never get any of them wrong.
Morgan, we're fluent.
Yeah, exactly.
In 30 languages.
Exactly, clearly. And if you're ever trying to go to Czechia and you're wondering what visa, well, all I'm going to pretty much say is it's a similar visa to most EU countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anything more needs to be said.
If you're looking to travel to Czechia via an
what
international
advert is
airport,
this?
you need to travel to the largest airport in Prague, called Prague Airport. Others include Karlovy Vary and Ostravia. The currency in Czechia
is the Czech koruna, otherwise known as Czech crowns. £1 is the equivalent to 28.75 Czech crowns as of now, as of filming. Czechia joined the EU in 2004 and are currently trying to meet all the requirements to be able to use the euro. They haven't made it yet. I think they've done 2, and I can't remember how many they need to get.
Also, whilst in Czechia, you'll have access to credit card terminals, otherwise known as ATMs.
Thanks. Yeah. There'll probably be quite a few of them. So
Cheeky little breakdown of cost for Czechia is the average beer and hostel price. The average beer is £1.22 or 35 Czech crowns. The average cost of a hostel is around £8.
And the best method of transport around the country, well, there is Uber and there are vast train networks that can get you most places, although we think that still, and for lots of places, the best method of transport for actually getting around the country will be by bus, because that is the cheapest way to get to the most different amount of places. And a company like Flixbus is very good when you get travelling around Europe. But local buses are also good because they'll go to more destinations.
I agree. Now let's get on to everyone's favourite one.
Will's favourite one.
Everyone's. It's local foods and drinks, and this is the one
I think most people
where
like the
we
history.
normally debate. I don't, because I'm told to be excited about talking about it.
Straight to the point and energetic.
Started off is marinated sirloin, which in Czechia is called Svikova na smetan. This popular dish consists of braised beef covered with a thick, creamy sauce consisted of parsley root and carrots. It's usually accompanied by a side of cranberry sauce and whipped cream.
Whipped cream almost sounds out of place.
Yeah. I mean, cranberry sauce makes kind of sense. The whipped cream, yeah.
But still, that sounds very exciting.
I'll try it.
So the next... Did you find any Czech beer?
I didn't go to the supermarket. Otherwise, basically every supermarket you go in has Czech beer.
You were in town today.
You're driving.
I can have one small beer, as your mother allowed yesterday. Czech beer. Czechs drink the most beer per capita of any nation in the world. Pilsner, as we spoke about before, is a light gold-coloured brew and is the most popular variety of beer in the world. And it gets its name from the Czech city of Pilsen. Home to the famous Pilsner Urquell brewery that ships out its green bottles and cans to countries all over the world. Lately, Czech craft beers have also been experiencing a renaissance, so you'll be able to find some excellent IPAs and pale ales.
I don't think I'd ever drink anything other than Pilsner. Whilst I was out there, potentially wine. But I definitely wouldn't drink an IPA or pale ale in the city of Pilsner. So, moving on, we've got Urug. Petrovka is a herbal digestif, most often served either chilled and straight or with a tonic to make a bidon, which is also the word for concrete in Czech. Produced in the spa town of Karlovy Vary, Petrovka is a national treasure, which I've just slaughtered the word of. And its recipe is a closely guarded secret. At any given time, only 2 people in the world know it.
What?
And they mix up the ingredients once a week.
That's unbelievable.
That sounds fun.
What, drinking concrete? Sounds fantastic.
But at any given time, only 2 people in the world know it. So there are only 2 people who make it, and when they die, then it's done. Or pass on the secret to the family.
Yeah, maybe they'll pass on the secret.
And they just go, yeah, it's whatever the cheapest herbs we can find in the supermarket are, then we rip off tourists.
Probably that. Rizek, which is schnitzel. While schnitzels aren't exclusive to Czechia, Rizek is as unique in that it can be made using a number of different meats, covered in both flour and breadcrumbs before frying and served with a side of potato salad. Pork schnitzels are particularly popular, but there is also trout schnitzel, commonly eaten during Christmas. I prefer turkey.
Trout schnitzel just sounds like fish and chips, to be honest. Just breadcrumb fish.
Yeah.
Sounds alright.
That sounds decent.
Bramborke.
Is that a Czech accent?
Czech potato pancakes. They're made from shredded potatoes, crushed garlic, milk, cumin, marjoram, some flour, eggs, salt and pepper. All ingredients are mixed well into a dough, including grated celery, cabbage, leeks and diced onion. Once mixed, ladles of dough are poured into a pan and fried until crisp and golden brown on both sides. They are served immediately and is a very popular street food at festivals and events.
Fantastic.
That sounds tasty.
That does sound good. So how do you say it?
Bamborke.
That sounds alright. Giant pork knuckle. A giant pork knuckle may not sound good, but trust me.
You're a giant pork knuckle.
It is. And I'm tasty. Feel free to skip breakfast and save your appetite for a hearty Czech lunch or dinner. One of the best is a giant pork knuckle in Prague. The meal is great value and huge. One of the best places in Prague to get a pork knuckle is the restaurant Mlejnius. M-L-E-J Nice. They have 2 locations, I assume both in Prague, and that is one of the best places to go.
The other thing you need to try whilst in Czechia is kofola.
In where?
Czechia.
I thought you said Czech. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Is kofola.
No,
during the 40 years of communism in what was then Czechoslovakia.
Love
The country refused to import Coca-Cola, so a local replacement sprang up in its place. Kofola is less sweet and more herbal than its capitalist cousin. And if you need to put up a spring in your step, you'll be happy to hear that it's also more highly caffeinated than Coke or Pepsi. The original plan was to discontinue it when communism ended and the market reopened, but people had grown too fond of it. The drink remains very popular to this day.
Well, I mean, you got to try it. It was like in Peru. What did we try that drink that neither of us liked?
Which one?
The bright coloured fizzy drink.
Oh, I can't remember.
I didn't like it. Sesneka, which is garlic soup, a garlic-heavy soup with croutons. Sesneka also contains raw egg, which is added near the end of cooking and left alone to heat in the soup. Small pieces of sausage, pork, or cheese is sometimes added to it as well. That sounds quite nice.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
That sounds very tasty.
Last but not least, for this first part of our deep dive into Czechia, formerly known as Czech Republic,
formerly known as Czechoslovakia.
Moravian wine.
Ooh.
Moravia has a thriving wine industry, although Moravian winemakers recognise that their conditions simply aren't as favourable as those of the likes of France or Italy.
Or England.
They instead focus on making unique wines that take advantage of their different soil and weather that they have to work with. The vineyards are often located on the likes of castle grounds in an area such as Lendis Valdis. I think that is a beautifully tasty, poignant end.
Tasteful.
To part 1 of our deep dive into Czechia. And before we end this episode and roll that lovely outro, we just need to say, please, like, subscribe, leave a review. Make sure you are on that YouTube and all our podcast channels such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts and Castro and everywhere else.
And if you haven't noticed, Spotify has changed recently and you can now leave us a 5-star rating on Spotify. which we would be very grateful if you could do, because we spend a lot of time doing these episodes and we put a lot of research, don't we, Will, into these episodes.
To inform you about history, language, geography, food, transport, budgets, how to save money, everything about everywhere.
Everything about everywhere. Now, I hope you get excited about part 2, which is next week, because next week we're going to tell you about all the best things to see, best activities, best experiences you can have in Czechia. So I think it's about time to roll the outro.
Yeah, let's make it happen. I hope that you can handle going on adventures, best kept secret travels. Yeah, all over the globe, having fun, you know the deal. Amazing secret locations, hang out with Morgan and Will. Educate and entertain, haggle in the market, sharing their experiences. Time to get it started. Let's go.